Morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Michel Vermette, the former CEO of Armstrong and also a former executive with Mohawk. Michel, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Kemp. How are you?
I'm good. You were just at the FloorCon show in Tucson. You're back now. Where are you, in Lancaster today?
Just got back home today. So, yes, had a great conference in Tucson with the Broadloom team.
And that's got to be a little weather shock to go from Arizona back to Pennsylvania, huh?
Well, believe it or not, it was fairly cold in Arizona. The evenings were fairly cool, but it was good to have a little sunlight.
I wasn't able to make this meeting this year. I went last year. I thought maybe you could give us a quick rundown on what you saw at FloorCon 2022 in Tucson.
The Broadloom team and Todd Saunders did a really nice job tailoring the content towards the retailers. It was really all about their success. There are some key messages about evolving and using technology to your advantage was key. Also reminding retailers as they're nimble, they can make changes quickly, they can drive their business, and really just encouraging them to take action in the coming months and years. 2021 and 2022 were overall very good years with demand on the residential remodel side in particular. And, 2023 and possibly 2024 will be more challenging with higher interest rates and some of the announcements we've seen recently. So very much encouraging retailers to continue improving, evolving, so they could be in great position to take advantage of any opportunity that comes with some of those disruptions. The Broadloom team did a very nice job focusing on the retailers.
Well, I've got to applaud them for putting you on the stage. And the speech that you gave, the message, what every retailer can learn from Michel Vermette's time as CEO of Armstrong. I want to talk about that talk in just 1 second. I think it's interesting you use this word disruption because, I wanted to share it for my listeners' benefit. We did a focus on leadership on you in February of 2020. Everybody knows what happened to the world in March of 2020. That was the beginning of COVID and all those exterior forces. So there's certainly some things that happen that are outside of your control that play into your success. Why don't you take us through what your message points were for those retailers at FloorCon?
Yeah, my timing in 2020 was not ideal, but you learn from those experiences. And I think that's what I was trying to share with the retailers. With some of the most adverse conditions that you go through, we didn't stop changing and evolving in Armstrong. And we needed to, right? Because there was definitely some gaps where we were and we needed to catch up. And, it's easy to go into a shell and bunker down and stop when you have adverse conditions. But if you don't keep evolving and changing and use these times to really get your business fitter, stronger, nimbler, to meet your customer expectations, it's a miss and you fall further behind. So I shared 6 questions with the retailers during this session, and I'll share those with you, Kev. The first one, 87% of the consumer searches for flooring start on the internet. So if you're not in the top 5 results, when someone searches for flooring in your market, you're not even top of mind. They're not coming to see you. So it's a big gap. The other piece is making sure challenging yourself to outperform the market. It's critical. And the other piece is it's so hard to get leads. Make sure you close over 50% of your leads. The consumer's coming to buy when they come to your store. Ask for the order and make sure you close those leads. Also, I shared with them that on the product side, less is more. Declutter your showroom. Make sure your offering is competitive but straightforward. And everything has a purpose. So make sure the showroom is curated. The other piece is the customer experience. And it's beginning to end, from the project information to the expertise of your RSAs, to make sure you have visualization in your showroom, make sure that they can see their dream project and make it come to life for them and have them buy in. Financing is going to be critical as interest rates go up. If you ask anybody to come up with $10,000 for a project, I think there's only 10% of the country that can do that right now. So that's critical to have financing available to consumers. Installation, make sure that you do all this great work, but you got to finish on a high with a great installation. Fifth one was a little bit unusual. You talk to many retailers, you still see some manual folders in some places and some manual processes. Technology is cheaper than ever, and make sure their system integrating work for you versus you working for the system. Information should be transparent. It's an amazing amount of work that's being generated because of not having the right tools and the right processes within the business. Get your infrastructure right. It's also a way to make sure you have a business you can sell and you can grow and scale. So it's important that your systems work for you. The last part is, do you have the right relationships? Suppliers, do you have a rep calling you back in 4 hours or less that has as interest in your success as they are in theirs? Installation, do the crews have your support, your back, and execute high level? The other one's a little unusual, the banks. We're going into high interest rate environment. Who knows what some banks will do? Make sure you know your banker, you know your relationship, you're connected with them. And the other piece, your team. Always communicate with your team, be close to your team, recruit the right talent, make sure everybody's on the same page is critical. And the last piece I finish with is, as you go through these questions, and the answers are different for every business based on stage, scale, reality, competition. So it's really, they have the answers to those questions for them. But just pick three things. They're the leaders, they're the entrepreneurs, they're the ones setting tone for the business. Have those entrepreneurs, which mostly were business owners or GMs of their business, pick three things, get them done, knock them out, make sure they're meaningful to your business to keep moving your business forward, then go in the next three. So be selective in a very uncertain time, but keep driving forward so you come out on the other side of this, a better business, more successful, and you navigate these troubled waters.
That sounds like a really good talk. So one of the key takeaways, I guess, is don't get in analysis paralysis. I mean, take action, right?
Take action is critical. It's easy to be caught up in the sand, in the details, the minutiae of the business, and just to be careful with your time as the owner of the business, because you drive it, you set the tone. That's what's going to be the long-term success of your business. And the other message also, to have some fun doing it. I have a little video where I'm reminding people, hey, regardless of all this work, all these things, just make sure you remember your friends, your family, and have a good time doing it.
To talk a second about where we are in this whole economic cycle, some of this downturn in demand is artificial based on what the Feds have been doing. So hopefully this will be a short-term dip. Maybe the third quarter of next year we'll be looking at hopefully a rebound. What do you think?
I hope you're right. I think the one thing with entrepreneurs and business leaders, you don't know what the Fed would do. Let's face it, no one knew how long COVID would last. No one thought that the Fed would raise the rates this fast. So control what you can control. I hope that that's the case. You just want to position yourself and take the actions to really position your business for success. So if it's earlier, you'll benefit from it. If it's later, you'll be ready and you'll come out on the other side stronger.
Well, Michel, having you speak to this group kind of begs the question of what's next for Michel. What's on your agenda?
Well, it's the holidays coming soon, so at least for the next few months, it'll be being a dad, a husband, a friend. That's my focus. There's been a lot of great folks reaching out on opportunities, so I'm going to take time to vet those. You'll hear from me in due time.
All right. Well, thanks for spending time with me and my listeners and telling us what your message was at FloorCon. Again, been talking to Michel Vermette, the former CEO of Armstrong, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.